Formula One has arrived in Austria with some breaking news that Charles Leclerc has confirmed that he will leave Audi at the end of the season. Leclerc has said to have lost faith in Audi winning the title once again and has decided to move on with his own career. There's been a lot of speculation about Charles Leclerc's future within the team, and it went all the way back to pre-season testing when Audi got their concept wrong, and despite their promise to move forwards, they've actually continued to slip backwards ever since Charles Leclerc just narrowly missed out on the title a couple of years ago. Charles Leclerc has been loyal and stuck with Audi for many years to try and see if they can continue their previous strong run form and get back to the top. But it's been quite clear that that has not been the case. And the speculation grew even further when Charles Leclerc liked an Instagram post about Audi and how they are not treating Leclerc well and that he needs to leave in order to gain success again. That obviously really annoyed Audi at the time, and it only just fueled the speculation further and further, and now we have the confirmation that he'll be leaving the team at the end of the season. Leclerc has said that he lost faith with Audi winning a title and just says that he just doesn't see any future progress within the team. Meanwhile, Audi, as you'd expect, are very, very upset with the news that Charles Leclerc will be leaving them at the end of the season. Taking a look at the race news heading into this weekend, Red Bull are on the back foot at their home Grand Prix here in Austria, which is a major concern for title contender Bottas, who has called Red Bull to work extremely hard overnight to get this car ready for the weekend. Meanwhile, Mercedes, Ferrari and Porsche all look very, very close on the qualifying simulation runs, but there's still a lot of uncertainty about the actual race runs itself. Tom fears that Porsche will be a major threat heading into this weekend. He believes that they have got the pace to go ahead and potentially run away with this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Sam is really unsure where McLaren stand. They weren't really the fastest in terms of the qualifying simulation runs, and while the long runs pose a lot of uncertainty across the grid, Sam just doesn't quite know really where they stand in that area either. So there's a lot of uncertainty for those teams around them. But there's only one way to find out who's got the quickest car, and let's have a look at the race then. It's time for qualifying and the race for the Austrian Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on guys? It is Foxydude here. Welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of the F1 journey for you guys today here on the channel. Today, this is season number 11, round 12 of the season here at the Austrian Grand Prix. If you guys end up enjoying today's video though, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. If you enjoy the content you do see, it goes a long, long way for myself. As you can see though, we're here in qualifying and we're starting our first flying lap here of the session, and overall the car felt absolutely brilliant around this circuit. I was able to really chuck it into the corners and rely on the back end to stick with me through the corners. As we cross the line, it's a 1 minute .893 on the dot, which gets us the fastest lap of the session so far. But of course, there's only a few that have set their lap times. But as you can see, we actually crossed the line, and as we start our final flying lap here, we're actually the fastest out of anybody. So far, no one's really done a lot to try and usurp us in terms of our lap times here as we now go on towards our lap here. So as you can see now, we're making our way up towards the hairpin here. We're about a tenth up on our previous best lap into the first sector here, and as we go in towards the hairpin now, just taking a slightly wider line through here, letting the traction just get underway there. Don't want to put too much rotation in, otherwise the back end will step out on us as we make our way now down in towards the next part of the circuit, the heart of the middle sector, where all the corners are. We actually brake a little bit too late going into that corner, running it a little bit deep, and we lost about a tenth of a second though there. So despite going 2 tenths up, we've now dropped that back, but into this middle sector, dropping it down into 6th, letting the car rotate, and it's just working with me at this point here, getting a purple middle sector in there, and again the car really just compliant as we try and blast it through these corners now, heading towards the second to last corner here now. As we brake, we actually go in a little bit early into that second to last corner. Probably could have afforded to have actually gone a little bit later, but regardless though, we're 4 tenths up and we're starting this race from pole position. Alright, so here we are then on the grid for the start of the Austrian Grand Prix. It's a one-stop strategy starting on the medium compound tyres, moving to the hards towards the end of the race. So, let's see what we can do then. We're on pole position here for this race. We've got the 5 lights on and the 5 lights are off, and we can get racing here in Austria. It's a decent start for us, a little bit of wheel spin there, but not as much as what Reese had, and we can go in towards turn 1 completely comfortable, just clipping the sausage curve there. Back end steps out, but we carry on our way here, leading this Grand Prix as we make the charge up the hill here. Reese now is trying to go for it here in towards turn 3. We're going to just cover the middle of the circuit. He's trying to go to the outside line there. Not enough space for Reese to try and make a move into that corner, but an early warning sign from the Porsche driver as we get a yellow flag going through in towards that hairpin, as there's a lot of cars that are bunched up there going into that corner as we make our way down in towards the hill here, and now just trying to get onto the power as quick as we possibly can, and we do just that then as we now start to settle into this Grand Prix, going in towards the middle sector, a little bit wide there through that corner. Reese trying to see if he can find the opportunity to make that move stick, but there was no opportunity there as we were able to recover the snap of understeer from the late break that we did and get back onto course here now as we go through towards the final two corners now of this Grand Prix. And as you can see, we go through the second to last corner and the final corner to complete the first lap here of 36 at Spielberg, and we can crack on our way. But as we look further back, just behind us here, Oscar Piastri is up into third place here in this Grand Prix, but Verstappen is trying to go for it. He fakes to the outside, tucks to the inside, down in towards turn one. Piastri holds on to the position. Verstappen loses time here, going into the exit of one. Now down as they go, up towards the hill here of turns 2 and 3. Now, who's going to get the run off here? As you can see, the two McLarens further back are also going for a fight here. Verstappen can't get past Piastri, but meanwhile there, George Russell, I think, has just gone around the outside of Sam in towards turn 3. The two McLarens swapping places early on in this Grand Prix. And let's go back then and have a look at the race start itself then. The 5 lights go on and then they are off, and you can see a little bit of wheel spin, but it was actually a perfect start, not only for me but also for Reese in second place there. You can see, look at the gap we've already managed to build going in towards turn 1. Now you can see here that I got a cracking run through towards turn 1 here, but Reese actually stuck with me really nicely. And as we make our way up the hill now towards turn 3, Reese here just sticking in the slipstream. You can see he's going for the outside line, but he wasn't fully committed to it, and I was able to just pinch his line completely and give him nowhere to breathe. Oscar Piastri, though, had a lightning start. Look at that for a start from Piastri. It was so quick. They had to wait until he could find a way past Verstappen. But what a move and what a start that he had, breezing past the McLaren there and also getting past Verstappen in a matter of moments there. Really good stuff from the Aussie driver, and as you can see, he is on his way. This is on board with Sam here, and he gets a lovely start. He passes the Red Bull of Bottas. He also gets past his teammate Russell going in towards turn 1. Russell then fights back. A little bit of contact there between the two McLarens, which Sam won't like, but he does enable himself to get ahead and can just start to press onwards on the back of Verstappen, of course, before he got overtaken there by his own teammate Russell later on in the lap here. Lap 2 of the Grand Prix, and as you can see, we're starting to settle ourselves quite comfortably into this Grand Prix. We've got a yellow flag further back there. Somebody's got a problem in the background, and I don't think they're retiring from the race, so I'm not quite sure what the issue is further back, but we'll have a look in just 2 moments here and find out what is the issue with that car that just continues to drive very slowly through the last corner. And it's our championship rival, it's Valtteri Bottas. He's got a puncture. He's got a puncture on the front left tyre there on the end of the second lap. He's clearly made some contact somewhere. He must have done in order to get a puncture that early on. But that is a massive twist in the championship battle. Valtteri Bottas was 1 point clear of us heading into this Austrian Grand Prix. And at the moment, he's now all the way back down at last place in this field with a puncture, and that, I believe, is now the second time this season that Valtteri Bottas has suffered a puncture throughout the course of a race. He suffered one in the first round of the season in Bahrain, and he suffers one again here at the Austrian Grand Prix, and that is horrible luck. But for me, though, that is massive jubilation. But of course, as you can see from this overtakes that are going on here, this is only lap 3 of the Grand Prix, so there's still a long way to go. There you can see myself and Reese out front, starting to really build the gap now. As further back here, Verstappen tries to come back at Piastri. Piastri does a great job there of defending, but as you can see, all this fighting that's going on here, Verstappen trying to go for it in towards turn 1. Piastri has got the DRS though. Now the McLarens are trying to get involved in here. They might go 3 wide towards turn 1. They are going to go 3 wide into turn 1, and Sam then gets up into 4th place. Verstappen down to 5th. Piastri is into 6th place in the, not Piastri, Russell's in 6th, but now Russell's trying to go for it on Sam. He's past Verstappen. Oh, that was close going towards the hairpin. Sam there tried to dive it down the inside of Piastri. Of course, there was a little bit of confusion there for Sam, but as you can see, the more that these teams are fighting here now for this 3rd place spot, the more that me and Reese out front can just pull away from this lot and just give them basically no hope of catching us in this Grand Prix. So they need to be careful. And you can see here, look, lap 4, lap 5, I've got a comfortable gap over Reese, around about 1.5, 2 seconds on him. And now these guys here are fighting so hard that they're really dropping back at a vast rate of knots here. And there you can see, there's us going up the hill. So they've got to sort this scrap out, or one of them's got to make an overtake stick and then pull away out of DRS and hope that they're not the ones stuck in it. But as they go free wide here, in towards the hairpin, Piastri somehow still coming out on top here. This is some brilliant defending that Piastri is doing right now to stop these McLarens from getting anywhere near him here. So we're back on board with Sam now, who's lost out to Lewis Hamilton in a scrap a little bit early on. But Verstappen now has got the DRS here. He's going to try and go around the outside of Sam in towards turn 1, but Sam will cover it up. But Verstappen gets a much better exit off of turn 1, and that's going to give him the position. Sam drops back a place. Now Sainz in the second Porsche car fancies a run down in towards the hairpin. Meanwhile, Piastri is under pressure from the McLaren as Sainz then, not only has he got past the McLaren of Sam, he's also just gone right round the outside there off Verstappen into the hairpin. And that's a lovely move for him as Russell now goes for the DRS move up past Piastri in towards turn 1. But Piastri now is going to get the DRS here on the exit of 1 and through towards turns 2 of the hairpin of 3. And that's exactly what he's going to do here. So Russell, while he's made this move stick, it won't last for much longer. Piastri now can go right round the outside, cover the middle of the track there and the racing line, and that's the job done. Back on Russell, heading in towards that corner. Lewis Hamilton is now trying to chase after this pack here. And speaking of Lewis Hamilton, here they go for another attack here. Down in towards turn 1 we go. Hamilton now going to go to the outside line here of George Russell in towards the first corner. Lewis Hamilton, just like we've seen Verstappen do earlier in the Grand Prix, using that outside line to his advantage, and both of them now, crucially, get DRS here to attack Russell, to attack Piastri, going in towards the hairpin of turn 3, but Russell and Hamilton just want to fight each other, really, and that's exactly what they're doing, and that's not really going to help them, and that's going to allow Carlos Sainz to get involved in the act here. But now, as you can see here, lap 8 of the Grand Prix, again, myself and Reese out front, you could just see us going for the exit of turn 1, getting quite comfortable now in this race, but crucially, somebody that's going to start to get comfortable very soon is that man in the Aston Martin, Oscar Piastri, because despite the fact that Russell's got DRS here down the straight heading in towards turn 3, Piastri on that start-finish straight actually got himself out of DRS range of Lewis Hamilton. So now all of a sudden, as we see Sainz here going for a move now down the inside of Sam in towards the hairpin. Now we've seen the drivers on the outside get a better launch of the exit of the hairpin, and that's happened again. But as I was saying, this is Russell now, look, going for an attack here, or Hamilton going for the attack on Russell. Russell's not got DRS here to defend this position, so as Hamilton goes in towards turn 1, in fairness to him, it's actually a very clean overtake here, but he's not got enough of a gap here, and Russell will come back at him. But Piastri now is literally on the knife edge here of staying out of that DRS zone. But as you can see now, going side by side in towards this hairpin to Hamilton and Russell, this is not going to bode well for their chances of chasing after Piastri. Piastri's going to love this even more as Russell gets in front of Lewis Hamilton, but Hamilton does have DRS here to go for an attack down towards turn 4. Hamilton breaking later than Russell. Will he make this move stick? No, just not quite. Russell's going to use the exit there off of turn 4, and he holds the move against Lewis Hamilton and stays in P4. But this fight will continue onwards for yet another lap here. Hamilton now with the DRS here, going for an attack on Russell in towards turn 1. Down the inside he goes. Oh, they're very close to contact there into turn 1, but Russell holds the move and he stays in front here. But Sainz now fancies to run at Lewis Hamilton, who got a little bit out of shape on the exit of 1. Sainz now gets past Lewis Hamilton. He won't just pass Hamilton, he's going to pass Russell as well here, because in towards turn 3 he goes, round the outside, get the better exit. Lovely overtake there from him in all of that. Russell does get DRS here to attack Sainz. Hamilton will not be able to pass in all of that, which is a real shame, but as they move in towards the next corner, it is job done for them. And as you can see, we're looking back here at Carlos Sainz trying to make a move here on George Russell, and it's actually Russell making a move on Sainz. I am very bad at noticing who's making an attack here, but Russell has got the job done. Unfortunately, it's not going to be for much longer though, because Carlos Sainz here has the DRS, and as they swoop right towards turn 3, Sainz will go for the outside line. Job done on George Russell, and Hamilton is sitting waiting in the wings here. In fact, I say Hamilton's sitting waiting in the wings, Hamilton's waiting in the wings, Verstappen's waiting in the wings, and so too is Sam. They're all having a go for it in terms of waiting in the wings. Lap 13 of the Grand Prix though, we've got a yellow flag there further back, and that is for the Aston Martin of Oscar Piastri. You can see him on the minimap there. He's slowing down. He pulled away from all of the drivers behind him, got out of DRS range, was sitting comfy in third in the Grand Prix, and it's a heartbreaking moment for Oscar Piastri. He is out of the Austrian Grand Prix, and that is the second race in succession that Aston Martin is pulling over to the side of the track and retiring from the Grand Prix, and that is such disappointment for Oscar Piastri, who's really having a difficult phase of this season. But unfortunately, that is the way motorsport can hurt you, and also it can help you. Now, as we go on to lap 15 of the Grand Prix here, Sainz has just overtaken George Russell here. Lewis Hamilton now has passed George Russell. Russell was not in the DRS detection point going in towards turn 1. He was still ahead of Carlos Sainz. So Sainz got the benefit of defensive DRS boost. Hamilton got the boost of an offensive DRS attack here. And now Hamilton fancies a run here on Carlos Sainz. This battle now is back on board for a podium spot here. Lewis Hamilton now gets up into third in this Grand Prix. And that's crucial for our team in the fight in the Constructors' Championship. Hamilton needing to get as many points as possible. Lap 17 of the Grand Prix here, and we're back on board with ourselves here. And I'm just going to put it out here. Things are very, very comfortable for me around this circuit. I have been thoroughly enjoying my drive. The car has been set up perfectly, and nothing can trouble me. However, as you can see coming into the pits right now, is Reese in the Porsche. We've got around about a 3-4 second gap over Reese, but he's been keeping me very honest in the first 17 laps. There's no denying it. I mean, from the start of the race up until lap 17, to only be able to pull a 4 second gap on Reese is, not a massive amount. And, any mistakes that I make, Reese will be there to capitalise on it. So, whilst we sit pretty and we're sitting comfortable in the lead of this race at the moment with no real signs of anybody attacking us, we need to keep our composure at an absolute high, because mistakes will be punished. Lap 20 of the Grand Prix though, and the battle with the drivers further back that we were looking at earlier, well, it's just continuing here. Verstappen versus Sainz now. You can see there's a little bit of a breakaway here. So we've got Hamilton and the two McLarens that have broken away here from Sainz and Verstappen. So somewhere in the pit stop region, obviously with one driver's coming in earlier than the others, they've had a little bit of an issue here. Further back though, the sole reigning Aston Martin of Theo Pourchaire is doing everything he can to try and get some points on the board for the green team. And as you can see here, he gets past Lando Norris, but Norris is going to have the DRS here down towards turn 4, and that's all Norris needs to retake that position away from Pourchaire, but Theo is giving it a good old go. Like I said though, the battle for third in the race is currently situated between Hamilton and the McLarens, as here comes, I believe, Sam now, going for a move down the inside in towards turn 1. That's job done actually for Sam and all of that here. Hamilton out of shape on the exit of 1. Russell will try and go for it through towards turns 2 and 3, but there's no room for him to go for it. And they're going to all try for it now, going in towards the hairpin of turn 3. It's a 3-wide moment here. Lewis Hamilton is going to come out on top in all of that, taking the outside line, getting the better exit out of that, but Sam's got the DRS now, going down in towards turn 4. He's going to try and make the move here, around the outside, break as late as he possibly can against Hamilton. Lewis will fight this one towards the inside here, but Sam will just hold it around the outside of turn 4. A job done for the McLaren driver, working as a team here to usurp Lewis Hamilton in this race. Lap 21 of this Grand Prix. Russell now trying to make a move here on Sam, on Hamilton, going in towards second last corner, and he might have just done it, but round the last corner, Hamilton breaks a lot later and puts confidence and faith in his car that he's got the pace to do it, as the DRS now active for both drivers here going towards turn 1, but crucially, they have to be careful here because Sam now is in very good position here to potentially break out of the DRS, but both Hamilton and Russell have got DRS, and crucially, they've stuck with the McLaren driver as they blast their way down the straight here, but this is not going to help their chances here. Is Russell trying to make a move on Hamilton, going in towards turn 1, very close and tight between the pair of them here. Hamilton's going to get offset by the entry in towards turn 1, taking the tighter apex line compared to what Russell gets to take. George Russell will have that one back, and the DRS will just help him stay ahead. Hamilton having a look there, but Russell planting his car perfectly in the middle of the track there, giving Hamilton no opportunities to go for a move. Meanwhile, that was Carlos Sainz there that was having a look, and I believe passing Max Verstappen. Speaking of Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, they're still going for it here, down in towards turn 1. Verstappen tried to go for it on Sainz down on the inside there, but it seems a lot of drivers struggling with the moves down the inside in towards turn 1. Those that are going on the outside line are getting a better exit compared to everybody else here. As we go backwards here to Lando Norris and Theo Pourchaire, Norris now tries to go for a move here. He's going to close the DRS shut here, down in towards turn 3, but as we see before, that outside line proving so much easier for traction there by quite considerable margin here. Norris has got the DRS here, so can he still go for it in towards turn 4? He'll try it in towards turn 4, but Pourchaire again, just like we saw with the McLaren of Russell, I think it was, defending brilliantly in the middle of the track here. Lap 25 of the Grand Prix. Russell now is just going for a move here on Sam in towards turn 1, round the outside. Lovely move there, getting a great exit as well for good measure. This might just give him a little bit of a chance here to hold position against the McLaren. Going in towards turn 3, not quite. Sam's going to go for it. Down the inside now on George Russell. This is going to get very tight between the two drivers, but it is going to be George Russell that will come out on top here. But Sam now has got to be very careful because right behind him is the Mercedes of Hamilton, who will definitely take advantage if these two collide and take each other out of the Grand Prix. Lap 25 of the Grand Prix, and as you can see from ourselves, we're still looking absolutely pretty, and overall the pace on these hard compound tyres is even better than those on the medium compound tyres, and we are pulling away actually from Reese quite a lot here in this race. But unfortunately, we're missing a driver from this Grand Prix. It is Nick de Vries who is retiring from the race. A mechanical failure for him, pulling over to the side of the track. That's a disappointment for Audi. Of course, it's a difficult weekend for them after the news that Charles Leclerc will be leaving the team at the end of the season, and Nick de Vries now pulling over to the side of the track really doesn't bode well for their weekend and the team morale here. But we got a 3-wide moment now going towards turn 1. It's Sam, Hamilton and Russell all having a fight. They're really going for it, these drivers, but Sam gets out on top here, and crucially he's got DRS here on this straight up towards turn 3 to potentially pull away, but that's not the case because Russell's coming back at him and he's having a look everywhere, left, right and centre in towards turn 1 to go for a move here on Sam. But now Russell with that DRS will go for an attack here on Sam in towards turn 3. Lewis Hamilton might just go for an attack here. He will go for it in towards turn 3. Russell's already got the move done on Sam. Hamilton now is trying to go for it on the second McLaren driver here, and if they make their way down the straight in towards turn 4, crucially this time around, Hamilton, despite having the inside line in towards turn 3, actually got the move done there, so it can be done down the inside. You just need to be a little bit better with your exit to get that one done. Lap 28 here. Hamilton now is really opening up the taps here. He's going for a run here on George Russell down in towards turn 1. These two have had a great fight all race long. In fact, Hamilton's had a cracking fight all race long with all these McLaren drivers, actually, in fairness to him. But he's probably getting sick and tired of seeing some papaya. But he's going to see a lot more of it now because Sam's got the DRS here to just breeze down the inside, around the outside of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Hamilton's trying to go for it down the inside of Russell. I think Hamilton's just got that one on George Russell. He has done there. Lovely overtake from Lewis Hamilton in all of that. And now as we make our way down in towards turn 4, who's going to come out on top in this fight here? Will it be Hamilton? Will it be Russell? It's going to be super close, super tight. They're going to really fight this one out here between the two of them now. Going in towards this middle sector here, Russell looks like he's going to come out on top. He'll have the inside line and he can cope with the fight that Lewis Hamilton has put on him. But crucially, that battle has just enabled Sam to pull clear of DRS of Hamilton and Russell. There he is, going towards turn 1. So now all of a sudden, this fight that was brewing for a brilliant P3, McLaren have done that very well actually, because Sam, as you can see there, has pulled away. He's escaped the fight now that, well, me and Reese have escaped since the first lap, to be honest, as Hamilton now goes for it around towards the third corner here. Round the outside he goes. He'll get the better line here. Russell, though, will get the DRS to try and come back at him in towards turn 4, but it's going to be tight and close, and it doesn't quite work. Lap 30 of the Grand Prix here, going in towards the last corner. Verstappen tries to go for a move on George Russell in the last corner. The Ferrari and the Porsche of Sainz have caught back up to this pair here. As they go in towards the last corner, Russell gets that DRS and he can stay in front of Verstappen, but Max will come back at him, use that slipstream that he's got. Oh, he's trying to go for it in towards the first corner, but Russell fends off Verstappen towards the inside line here. But Sainz now gets the overtake done on that attack there, and now Sainz can make that move going in towards turn 3. Not quite. He'll wait one lap later to go for a move in towards turn 1 versus George Russell as they go down the inside here. Russell holds the position against Carlos Sainz. Sainz will open up the DRS here. He won't get the DRS actually. He was in front of Russell in the detection zone on the exit of 1. That's a key one there because now Verstappen will say thank you very much, I'll have that, and gets past Carlos Sainz for good measure in all of that in terms of that fight. Now as you can see here on board with Verstappen, who's going for a move here on Russell again. Crucially, another driver has now broken the DRS train here. Lewis Hamilton has now got away from George Russell. He's over a second clear, and that's now put Russell vulnerable to the attack here from Verstappen and also from Carlos Sainz. So as things stand, I now lead this Grand Prix, or I lead the Grand Prix. Reese is in second. Sam has comfortably got himself out of DRS range and is running in a lonely third. Hamilton now has got himself into 4th place and is staying there. Russell now is doing everything he can to fend off a fighting Ferrari of Verstappen for P5 in this Grand Prix. Max now goes towards the outside line here of George Russell in towards turn 1. Is this going to be enough for an overtake to be stuck just about for Verstappen's case, but there's going to be plenty more DRS to come from not Verstappen, not from Russell, but from Sainz, who's going to take a double overtake here, up in towards turn 3. Verstappen will brake very late, though, to try and hold the position against Sainz, but it's not enough for Max Verstappen. He has to sit back and wait a little bit longer for another attack here on Carlos Sainz, because Sainz now has just said, thank you very much, I'll have both of your positions in this Grand Prix. Verstappen now tries to go for it down in towards turn 1. Max here going towards the inside. Russell is just hovering in the background there as Sainz goes around the outside here, but it's not good news for Verstappen. No DRS here on the run towards turn 3, so Russell will say thank you and take that place quite comfortably, and now he can size up an opportunity on Carlos Sainz towards the end of the Grand Prix and make a move stick here on the Porsche driver as they dive down towards turn 4 between these drivers. Meanwhile, for us, though, on lap 36 of the Grand Prix, it's been probably one of the most plain sailing races I've probably ever had in the F1 journey. I'm giving it everything right now to try and set another fastest lap of this Grand Prix. We already have it in the bag, but as you can see from the gap there, we've pulled very, very clear of the chasing pack here as we go in towards the last corner here, getting, well, too close to the wall for comfort, but it is the race win here in Spielberg. The Red Bull Ring has become the Mercedes ground this time around, and that is what Red Bull did not want to see, was one of their championship rivals, Mercedes, taking victory on their home soil. But as I basically just pointed out then, on that last lap, it was this track, this car was easily the best feeling best feeling I've had driving one of my F1 journey cars in a long time. The car was planted in every single corner. I was able to understand from lap 1 where to brake into every single corner. I could chuck the car into every single corner and everything would live with it. The back end was living with what I wanted to do. The front end was biting into every single corner, and it just gave me pure satisfaction and confidence to let this car just work with me. And I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. We take the victory. In the end, we finished 11.7 seconds clear of Reese at the checkered flag. Reese had a fantastic race. Obviously, he tried to make a move on me in towards turn 3 on the opening lap. But from then on in, he stuck with me really well, especially in the first stint on the medium compound tyres. Reese was very quick. On the hard compound tyres, Reese just didn't quite have the pace. I think it was more so to do with the fact that there was a lot less tyre wear on the hard tyres, so it meant that I was able to push a lot harder and do a little bit less management, and that allowed me to build my gap. Sam, meanwhile, gets 3rd place this time around. Obviously, that is key for McLaren, who I believe, if I can remember correctly, got that double DNF last race. So for them here today to get double points is critical for them. But yeah, finishing 19.3 seconds off in the end. Again, Sam, Hamilton, Russell, Sainz and Verstappen were all involved in really heavy battles for pretty much the whole race. That was the main fight all race long, and it was pretty much down to what driver was going to break out DRS, because the driver that gets away from that DRS zone will pull away, and that's exactly what happened. Lewis Hamilton finishes in 4th in the end, 22.3 seconds off the race win in the end, with George Russell managing to beat Sainz in the end, getting across the line. Sainz finishing in 6th, Verstappen down in P7 in that scrap for the fight for 5th. Charles Leclerc, despite all the talk around him this weekend, gets a good job done with P8 for Audi. Lando Norris finishing in P9 for Ferrari. A little bit of a disappointing race for Norris because he's been on good form in the last few races. This time around, though, not so much. He was too busy involved in a scrap with Theo Pourchaire, who ends up crossing the line in P10. In the end, though, the fastest lap also went to myself with a 1 minute 3.485, which allows me to get the extra bonus point for their fastest lap. Looking at the second half of the table now, and Pato O'Ward finishes the race in 11th for Jag, who unfortunately wasn't able to get into the top 10. Sergio Perez with a really disappointing race for him. I believe he started the race in P10 and just didn't get anywhere. Finished in P12, a long way off the race win in the end, and a long way off any form of points. You'd expect Perez to do a lot better than that. Daniel Ricciardo, 13th for Renault, with Callum Ilott literally less than a 10th behind him in P14. That was a photo finish across the line. Valtteri Bottas, well, what can you say really? He got a puncture on lap 2 and just had to run his own race for the entirety of it. No safety cars or red flags to help him out, It was just, well, here you go, just do what you can do. He fought his way back up to P15, but he was in a difficult situation from lap 1, and it's a real shame for Valtteri Bottas as his championship takes a massive blow. Mason Wood and Stoffel Vandoorne finishing 16th and 17th place, with Pierre Gasly finishing in 18th for Renault. And the two drivers to DNF from this Grand Prix were Oscar Piastri and Nick de Vries. But obviously, like I said about Valtteri Bottas, that has put a major effect on the championship, as you can see, as we now take the lead once again in the F1 Journey Drivers' Championship with 199 points now to my name. And crucially, there is now a 25-point gap, basically, well, effectively a whole race victories gap between myself and Valtteri Bottas in the championship. But that is how quickly things can change. If I have a difficult race, or if I retire from the next Grand Prix or the next 2 or 3 races in time and have a really difficult race, that gap will cut right back down again. It just ebbs and flows, and that's how the season goes. We have 25 points clear of Bottas going into the next round of the season. Sam is third in the championship on 160 points. He is 39 points back in the championship. He's got a bigger margin to close, but it's certainly not over. But it's pretty much solidified now that this will be a 3-horse race for the championship, because Max Verstappen, who's 4th in the championship, has broken the 100-point barrier, but is 98 points back. It's not impossible. There are still 6 races to go, but it's becoming very much a 3-horse race now between myself, Bottas and Sam. Verstappen, though, like I said, is on 101 points in the championship. Lewis Hamilton has moved himself up into 5th place now in the championship after that good performance from him. In the last 2 races now, he's on 95 points, goes in front of Piastri, who's on 93 points. And Piastri, again, he should easily be 4th in the championship had he not had his 2 DNFs. Lando Norris is 7th in the championship with 84 points to his name. Carlos Sainz is only 2 points back now from Lando Norris. Obviously, Porsche having a good recovery in the second half of the season as they look to add more points to their tally. George Russell is 9th in the championship for McLaren with 79 points, and then Reese is sitting 10th in the championship on 63 points, but that 2nd place in this race will do him a world of good moving further forward. And like I said, the next Grand Prix is the F1 Journey Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Taking a look at the Constructors' Championship now and seeing how that has changed after this Austrian Grand Prix. Well, there are no there are no team swaps in the Constructors' Championship, but obviously more points have been put on the board. Our team, Mercedes-Benz, we are on 294 points now and have built up a 53-point lead over McLaren at the top of the championship. So it's looking good for us at the top as things stand. Red Bull, despite closing the gap quite dramatically against McLaren in the last round, because McLaren got a double non-scoring finish, Red Bull this time around here at their home race both didn't score points. Crucially for McLaren, they scored points, and that pulls them clear in the fight for 2nd in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari still sit 4th in the championship on 185 points. They are now around about 205 points, I think. 25 points off of Red Bull, I think, if my math is correct. It doesn't sound like it in the championship. Porsche, meanwhile, are up to 145 points. They're only 40 points back from Ferrari, and if they're going to start scoring regular podiums like we are starting to see, don't be surprised if Porsche could get themselves in the mix come the end of the season. Maybe also with Red Bull as well. Aston Martin are on 105 points. They've stagnated now in the championship thanks to mostly Piastri, who's been scoring the points and obviously getting that double DNF. Audi get a couple of extra points on the board. They're on 33 points now thanks to Charles Leclerc, with Jaguar on 11 points, BMW are on 2 points, and Renault yet to score a point. But that is it for the Austrian Grand Prix. Let's go and have a look at the post-race notebook now, see what the teams and drivers had to say after this Grand Prix. Taking a look at the post-race notebook now after the Austrian Grand Prix, Tom ran away with proceedings here at Spielberg as he took a dominant victory in this Grand Prix. Reese, meanwhile, took home a brilliant P2 for Porsche, with Sam fighting back to claim P3. But the story of the race was the disaster home Grand Prix for Red Bull, with both drivers failing to score points. However, Red Bull have called out Pirelli after Bottas' puncture. This is the 2nd time now this season that Valtteri Bottas has suffered a puncture during a Grand Prix, with one in Bahrain and this one here this weekend. Of course, back at the British Grand Prix as well, we saw a puncture for the Ferrari of Max Verstappen and the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. This isn't the first time it's happened, and it certainly doesn't look like it's going to be the last, according to Red Bull. Tom has said that his car was the best it's ever been after this Grand Prix weekend. Tom managed to get pole position, leads virtually every single lap, and get the fastest lap in a comfortable fashion. He said that the car was absolutely perfect and there was nothing wrong with it at all. And finally, Porsche were really happy with Rees's race. Of course, he started the race off from second on the grid and had a look at Tom going in towards turn 3 on the first lap, but from then on in had to settle back behind the Mercedes, but he kept up very nicely with him in the first stint, but lost a little bit of pace on the hard compound tyres. But overall, it was a really impressive race, and one that Porsche were really happy to see Rees get back up to where he's used to being in the past. But that is it for the F1 Journey Austrian Grand Prix. If you guys have enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, and I'll catch you guys next time for the Italian Grand Prix. Take care all, peace.